Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take a quick moment, well, it's never a quick moment with my videos, to talk more about the state of the food and pharmaceutical industry in our grand old country of the United States of America. So, it has now become easy enough to acquire knowledge that they are now starting to put that appeal coating on organic produce on top of regular produce. Now, they say derived from natural ingredients, but it's still nasty shit. And it's been known, although not verified, that it can do things to your body if it is not removed from those things. Now, the reason they came out with appeal coating was to preserve the unlifespan of the fruits and vegetables that it coats, okay? And while that's admirable in some ways, it's still not natural to the fruit. Fruit are not meant to live beyond a few days max. They are meant to be picked, put in the produce section or a farmer's market, and consumed. That's by their nature. Not to mention the fact that most fruits and vegetables are much bigger than they ever were before because they have been modified and genetically engineered to produce a larger size. So their nutritional value is much different than it ever used to be. Apples back in the day when they were just naturally picked and didn't have any engineering behind them were very small by comparison of today's apples. Now, I will say that I am okay with eating a fair amount of today's fruit with the higher sugar content still, because the sugar content that is in fruit does not require exclusively the pancreas to break down, so it does not affect your insulin production and levels blood sugar wise the same way that artificially sweetened things do, and highly granulated and pure raw cane sugars tend to do. Okay. I personally, when I use sweetener, use stevia. I like pure stevia products if I can get them. Tend to be kind of expensive, but then everything is fucking expensive now. Because the Truvia brand and other stevia brands have other things mixed in, like pure cane sugar or raw cane sugar, as it were. And that denatures the naturalness of pure stevia leaf, okay? Pure stevia is a very good sweetener without having the negative effects of highly processed sugars, okay? Do not like processed things anymore. I used to be one of those people that didn't care what I put in my mouth, but since I've lost 170 plus pounds, I tend to pay attention to these things, okay? About 97% of the shit that's on your shelves that comes in a box or a can that is a processed food has shit in it you do not want in your body, period. I used to be Mr. Chef Boyardee because it was no preservatives, and then I looked at the can one day and actually paid attention, and it had soy oil product and vegetable oil product in it, depending on what it was. Unless it's got 3 ingredients or less on the box or the can, I will not take it. I will not. In fact, my daily intake is usually garbanzo beans or chickpeas, red beans, black beans, a couple other different varieties of beans, canned tuna in water, not oil, or canned salmon in water, not oil. I also get sardines in water, not oil. I do not get anything in oil anymore, and that alone has helped me significantly. I do not have soda of any kind anymore. I have been one of those people that's had a couple 44-ounce Dr. Peppers in a day from QT before I go to work, after I get off of work. Getting on a fishing boat not that long ago, no less, and have 2 24-ounce monsters and 5 taquitos from QT. I was one of those people, and I am not by nature anymore. Now, does my body still give me a lot of shit? Yeah, because it's an older body, and I've mistreated it for decades. So I'm paying the consequences no matter how natural I act or do in my life. But I will not eat anything beyond a certain amount of processing. I, however, understand that no matter how natural I go in this country, they tend to still put things in foods. So big things that I do not consume and I look for in anything I get food-wise, unless it's at a restaurant, of course, because you can only do so much when you go to a restaurant. any type of brominated vegetable or seed oil whatsoever. If it is controllable on my side of things, will not consume it. I will not buy a product with it. There are certain items that have some levels but are real low that I will consider, salad dressings being one of them. And in my daily routine, it is a romaine heart, half to a full can of the beans, can of tuna, sometimes canned chicken. I really don't like using canned chicken, but I don't buy a rotisserie every week, so I don't take a piece of chicken and cut it up. I've recently started instituting or reintroducing more meats into my diet. I intend to bring that back down because I have gained weight back. My body just does not do good with red meats or meats with nitrates, which are processed meats. I used to be a big proponent of doing sandwiches and whatnot. I can't do that anymore. The bread that you typically get at the store is horrible for you. There's a reason it can sit on your fucking countertop for weeks. It's highly processed. You should not have that shit in your body. Okay? You should not. By the way, if you think that you have a gluten problem, it's more than probably the glyphosates or the phosphates in their food and not the gluten. Just saying. People back in the day did not have these issues with things like diabetes and gluten intolerances. It's the way our food is made these days, okay? I get as natural as I can. I'll still eat a banana. I'll still eat eggs because as far as pure animal proteins go, eggs are phenomenal. And the funny thing is, the medical industry goes so back and forth on eggs. When I talked to my nurse practitioner last time, my good and my my bad and my good cholesterol were so even that she said that was actually optimal because the heart and the brain need cholesterol to function. Okay, so I eat eggs. I have no fear of that now because that woman has studied as much, if not more, than my doctor. Okay, and if she tells me that eggs are just fine and you're having one or two in a day is not going to kill you, guess what? I'm going to have some fucking eggs. Sorry. I've reached a point in my time where I am only going to watch so much, but I'm going to watch as good as I know that I need to. Now, the one thing that I need to get rid of very badly is alcohol, period. I need to get rid of the beer because it's still carbonated, it's still got yeast, it turns into sugars, it still turns into fat. And I don't have hangovers anymore. I have 2 to 3 day body overs from like 1 or 2 fucking beers. I don't need it in my life anymore, and I recognize this fact, okay? But I like beer. I like bourbon, but I need to stop fucking consuming it. And the funny thing is, the last time in December when I got checked, my blood numbers were phenomenal. My kidney, liver, all those numbers were right in the pocket. The only thing that was kind of elevated was my A1C. I've gotten out of pocket on some things in the last couple months. I need to get back on track. So for me, my sweeteners are pure, raw, unfiltered, local honey, because it's got the local fauna in it, flora, which means that you're prone less to the allergies associated with your environment, or pure stevia. If it's a sweetener that's by consequence in a food that I buy somewhere else, i.e. a restaurant, I take that hit because I'm eating so much better than I ever used to. A little bit of the bad is not going to kill me at this point. I have done so well in the last few years that if I treat myself, I treat myself. I drink a ton of water. I drink over a gallon a day on average. On average, there are days where I drink way more than a gallon. And consequence of that, I go to the bathroom a lot. But I'm pretty sure that if I get back on track with what I'm doing, that I will more than likely get back in the pocket of where I need to be. Now, I do not keep myself away from calories. When I cook with oils, it is either coconut oil or walnut oil only. Well, unless I have extra virgin olive oil, but regular olive oil even is not that pure. And the other seed oils and whatnot, like plain vegetable oil, let me tell you something. Plain vegetable oil is nothing of the sort. It is a label in name only at this point. They heat those oils so high to get toxins out of them that they become toxic by nature. I will not use those oils ever again. Now, my roommate, I think, uses some of that stuff. And if she makes food and I happen to be involved in eating a meal, I take that hit because usually, like my lunch at work all the time, is that combination of salad. I don't take a lot of anything else to work. I'll take a banana or two to work to have one there. I'll do avocados, but as far as cooking with, it's either vegetable stock and the coconut or walnut oil and pure Irish unsalted butter. I will put some tahine on my food sometimes. I will put some pink salt on my food sometimes. But those are more natural than the straight iodized salt, highly processed stuff. The tahine, I could probably do without, but I like a little bit of zing in my food, so I throw it in there. I will actually take vegetable stock and prune juice and mix them together because it actually makes a pretty kick-ass base for the vegetables that I cook. It actually turns into a really good flavor and keeps me more regular, by the way, even after cooked. I use a lot of sweet potato, not so much regular potato unless I go to Pita Jungle, but sweet potato at home, eggplant, variety of the bell pepper colors. Green's the cheapest. I have no fucking idea why. I do Mexican squash, butternut, a few other things, onion. And I'll use like rosemary, thyme, stuff like that when I cook to get a little bit more of the aromatic flavor. But I keep things as pure as possible within the confines of the way that this country runs shit, because you just really can't escape a whole lot. But like I said, no soda whatsoever. I drink only purified water. So if it comes from the bottled water that they get at work, granted it's in plastic, but I'm working in the world I'm working in. Or my roommate has a whole house water system. So a water softener, water purifier for the kitchen. Get my water for cooking from here. Sometimes I'll mix the vegetable stock, sometimes the prune juice with the vegetable stock, sometimes vegetable stock and water, and then a little bit of coconut oil and a little bit of the Irish butter. So I keep it very, very simple. I keep the chains of the fats that I eat very simple. I do not eat a lot of red meat anymore. I was eating smoked sausages. I mean, there was a pack that was insanely on sale at Winco I couldn't ignore, and I jacked myself by having a fair amount of it. I try to almost not have any pork products whatsoever because they make me inflamed as hell, and it has a tendency to do that to a lot of people, and it is the nitrates involved in the processing of the pork. And the pork itself, that meat is just pretty nasty, honestly. A lot of chicken, a lot of fish, mostly. I like the omega oils. I have a complement of 7 or 8 supplements. I got a 50 plus one a day, 1,000 milligram garlic soft gel. I've got an omega-3 fish oil. I've got a couple of different ones, Nigella sativa and ashwagandhas, and a D3. Now the 50 plus that I have in my D3 together make the optimal amount of IUs for a day for somebody my age. And my D3 is fairly low, although it's been elevated according to my last blood work. So I take those things, apple cider vinegar and beetroot combination. I finally got some more. These things are not cheap. Where I work, I get them half off, so that kind of mitigates some of the cost. An important thing to know about supplements, if it does not on the bottle say completely made in the USA, that means the source of the raw materials and the manufacturing, most likely most of your product base materials are going to come from only a couple countries, and the biggest one source is China. Unfortunately, it's just very cheap to get things from China, and knowing that, I stay with my company's product because of the fact that most of the primary companies that are out there, they source their stuff from China. It's just cheaper. You get American-made product and you have an American-made completely product for supplement, it's way more expensive because it is completely grown, harvested, manufactured here. It's just as simple as it is. I try to keep that unnatural part of the foods that have tendency to be in this country out of the equation for my body, because honestly, in a lot of other countries, in fact most industrialized countries, they outright ban the majority of the stuff that our FDA allows. I don't know why our government agencies that are manage what's allowed and what's not allowed in our foods, and drugs do what they do. I don't know. Pharmaceutical wise, well, there's not really much that needs to be said about that. People pickling themselves with whatever. We're one of only 2 countries in the entire world, New Zealand being the other one, that even allows commercials related to medications. Most other countries, you're required to see your doctor to ask about what options are. And most countries have a much more holistic way of treating you. It's just how it is. But mostly clear fluids, high fiber, avocados, bananas, potassium, whatnot. I just try to keep an even keel. I still have coffee. That's another thing I think I probably need to get rid of, honestly. It's just kind of rough on the body, that kind of caffeine. I drink a lot of tea. I go to Peter Jungle a fair amount because, honestly, going shopping and going out to eat, it's damn near the same fucking cost anymore. So I might as well eat something somebody else prepared and something I know is consistently healthier than most restaurants. So I hope that gives some insight into just being healthier in general. I have rediscovered that I like somewhat cooking because of the product that it gives me is a more directly influenced by myself thing. And my health has improved vastly. It could be better. My skeletal health is a different issue altogether. That is outside of the venue of what I've been talking about here. So I would just say, if you have kids or you yourself are just looking to have a better journey, get the carbonated and sugary bullshit out of their existences. Get rid of the fucking Pop-Tarts. All that bullshit is fucking your kids up. The dyes that are involved, the preservatives, all that shit is so horrible for you people. I was so blind to it for so long. I had so many of my friends telling me to. Get rid of the shit. Be fucking natural as you can. It's impossible to get away from it all in this country because they just don't like us fucking healthy. Bottom line. Get rid of as much as you can.